Caught in the act, a driver slams into a guy who he says was swiping stuff from his car.
A convicted killer is sketching pictures of his murder victims. Now we're waiting for him to draw a portrait of the person he apparently killed in Tampa.
And a turbulent flight crashes a cart, injuring passengers in its path. One of them caught it on camera.
Welcome to Nightside. I'm Carolina Leid.
And I'm Katie McCall. We begin tonight with that busted burglar in Manatee County and the angry owner who was not afraid to fight for his car.
Neighbors tell Nightside's Josh Adorowitz a string of break-ins has put everyone on edge.
He said somebody was breaking into our vehicle, and I went out there and kind of took care of it.
He sure did. That's Kathleen Allen's husband, Brian, going out to his truck after forgetting to lock it and catching the crook in action. He slams the door on him, then grabs and pulls him out before the burglar takes a swing of his own, punching him in the head and then getting away.
I was shocked. I'm like, what? He didn't look scared, nothing. He knew he could overpower this guy.
Turns out his was one of at least 5 hit in this neighborhood last Thursday night, all unlocked.
It's very quiet, very quaint. We know everybody in the neighborhood.
We showed neighbors like Steve Race the video.
I'm glad he kind of got the guy. Well, maybe he'll think about it before he comes in the neighborhood again.
The recent rash of break-ins giving some neighbors pause.
I mean, it just kind of puts more perspective on it can happen anywhere, so we just kind of, just take a couple extra precautions.
Extra precautions like cameras and Ring doorbells on many of the houses here. But neighbors agree the best defense and probably the most simple, just lock your doors.
Portraits by a suspected serial killer. Tonight, we're getting a look at more than a dozen hand-drawn images of the women Samuel Little says he killed. Nightside's Grady Trimble is with us. And Grady, this man has confessed to more than 90 murders across the country.
Right. Little claims he left a string of bodies from California all the way to Florida, including 2 here in Tampa Bay. Little drew these sketches in Texas in prison there, and there are haunting details. You can see right down to the women's makeup. The FBI hopes these images could help them identify some of his victims and bring their families closure. Little attached a city to each of these images, but there are no drawings for the ones in our area. But back in November, we reached out to investigators here hoping to learn more about our local victims. None of their cases match the murders Little claims to have committed. If these confessions are true, that would make Samuel Little one of the most prolific serial killers ever. Investigators are trying to get as much information from him as possible. He's in poor health, and they say he's likely to die in prison.
I'm Aubrey Jackson. Developing now, a rising Florida rap star is now charged with double murder. YNW Melly, whose real name is Jamel Demons, is accused of killing 2 men back in October. Investigators said Melly tried to stage the crime scene to look like a drive-by shooting. Melly was scheduled to perform to a sold-out crowd in Atlanta next weekend.
New video of a scary flight. 3 people are in the hospital after a Delta connection flight went through some severe turbulence. The plane took off in California, bound for Seattle. It had to make an emergency landing in Reno. Here's why. The passenger who took this video says the Delta crew did their very best to minimize the mishap.
Musician Ryan Adams is denying claims in the New York Times by at least 7 women who say he promised to help with their music careers and then pressured them for sex. In some cases, retaliating against them when they said no. One of the women says she was only 15 years old when Adams pursued her. In a statement on Twitter, Adams called the claims in that article upsettingly inaccurate.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since the attack at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, and Florida lawmakers are reviving a controversial plan to let teachers carry guns. The teachers union opposes the idea, and the grandmother of one Parkland survivor says her grandson and other Parkland students do not want armed teachers.
Where's the teacher going to handle it? Where is she going to keep it? Where is he going to put it? Well, a teacher is there to teach, not to use a weapon to protect their students.
This week, families of the 17 people killed at Parkland submitted a petition to the Broward Supervisor of Elections. They want a ban on assault weapons on the ballot in 2020. Tomorrow, we have live coverage from Parkland beginning at 5 a.m. on Brightside.
We're also keeping an eye on tonight's other big stories that are making headlines. The officers who responded to the deadly Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting are cleared of any wrongdoing. Today, a state attorney said all of the officers' shots were justified and that the shots hit only the gunman, not clubgoers. 49 people were killed in the 2016 shooting.
A sixth grader accused of making a fake school threat is facing a felony charge. The threat put Tampa's Farnell Middle School and Bryant Elementary on lockdown. Deputies say the rumor about an armed student on campus just wasn't true.
A school bus stops at an Iowa railroad crossing and breaks down. The train hit the back of the bus and spun it about 180 degrees. 2 people were on the bus. Both of them are doing okay.
Now, there's an old saying, money can't buy love, but the National Retail Federation expects people to spend over $19 billion this Valentine's Day. And the top 5 gifts, well, you guessed it, there's diamond earrings, a dozen roses, dinner for 2, a bottle of champagne, and a box of chocolates.
Victoria's Secret, they wrapped it for me.
And I'm gonna close it up here tonight buying some cards and maybe another accessory, you know.
You're onto something there. And sharing the love also goes for your furry friends. Bing.com says nearly 20% of people buy gifts for their pets.
Of course, yes, go for it. Yeah. They're more, pets are more dependable than, I hate to say this, more dependable than their significant other sometimes.
They were such a huge
Oh boy.
Oh, man. So funny. Now, last year, the average cost of Valentine's Day was just over $70 per couple, and USA Today predicts it will go even higher this year.
Y'all know how I feel about this.
We do. We do know how.
PayPal, Venmo,
Venmo.
a gift card.
We have lots of romantics out there. They're willing to spend some cash, some dough to keep their, their honey. I get it.
Just make it practical.
I'm old
That's all
school.
I'm
Get the flowers, play the boombox outside my window, okay.
Wow, you're going like 80s on
Yeah,
us.
that was real throwback right
Retro.
there. It's okay,
All right. We're not mad at you.
All right, so don't like your eye color? There's a surgery for that, but only if you're willing to take the risk.
Plus, roaches in your coffee, why the bugs are racing toward your coffee maker, and what it takes to get them out.
Eye doctors are seeing a frightening trend. People leaving the country to change their eye color permanently. A surgery that is not legal here in the U.S. And the consequences are devastating.
The first thing that came to my mind, I was like, what did I do?
Omar Sabuding was obsessed with turning his brown eyes blue. He came across a company called Bright Ocular, which offers a surgery to permanently change eye color. It's not approved in the U.S.
They're beautiful, but it's gonna sound crazy, but I just saw 2 raisins, the black spots, because I'm not used to seeing it like that. So I had to get used to it, even though I liked it. I saw it in pictures, but when I saw it myself in the picture, it felt like, in the mirror, I was like, I don't know.
It's an artificial iris implant made from thin, flexible medical grade silicone. It's folded and then inserted into a slit that has been cut into the cornea. It's then unfolded and adjusted to cover the natural iris. It takes about 10 minutes for each eye. Omar had it done in Tunisia for $6,500.
The reason why I removed them was also because I didn't feel comfortable with it. It gave me a bit insecure, because everything was about the eyes, and I was like, what I'm doing? It's like having about some eyes, it's not me.
Just a few weeks later, Omar had them removed in France, but the damage was done. His irises are now permanently deformed. Omar spent 6 days in the hospital. He couldn't see a thing for 5 hours.
The only thing I was thinking during that time when I couldn't see anything was my family, all the parents, everything else about it shallow didn't mean anything. It made me think, but it's sad that they had to get me so far for me to realize it,
Bright Ocular doctors performed their first artificial iris implant surgery in Germany in 1996. Online, you'll find many complaints against this company. Bright Ocular reps have not returned my many phone calls and emails for comment. Model Nadine Bruna also did Bright Ocular, turning her hazel eyes blue. She posted on her Instagram page that she still suffers from vision damage, has cataracts, and had to undergo a cornea transplant. Reality TV star and singer Tamika Tiny Harris got a lot of backlash on social media when she posted pictures of her ice gray eyes. She had the Bright Ocular procedure done in Africa, and she maintains that she has not had any complications.
There's a high risk.
Tampa General Hospital ophthalmologist Dr. Bernard Perez says, don't take chances with your eyes. You could end up blind.
Again, the American Academy of Ophthalmology has warned against these implants and these procedures, and are very concerned. The FDA, again, has not approved any of these implants. It's unfortunate because the companies have now that advertise these implants, they have misleading information in their websites, which kind of compare these implants to implants we use on a routine basis when we remove cataract surgery. Yes, their implants are silicone as the intraocular implants that we use for cataract surgery removal, but they're quite different.
Greg Homer is working on a safe method to permanently change eye color. He's the chairman and chief scientific officer of Stroma Medical and the inventor of a laser eye color change surgery. His procedure does not use an implant. Instead, it removes eye color.
The fundamental principle is that under every brown eye is a blue or green eye. And we use a very low energy laser to expose the brown pigment to this low energy laser, and it spins around the iris so that a small beam is guided by a computer around the iris.
This procedure is also not legal in the U.S. Stroma Medical says it's treated 70 patients in Mexico and Costa Rica with no complications. It's still in the testing phase and not available on the market.
It takes about 3 to 4 weeks for all of that pigment to be eliminated, and once it's eliminated, you have a natural blue or green eye, and it's permanent. The patient literally feels nothing. There's no pain. There's no recovery.
But Dr. Perez says there's just not enough research yet to know if this is safe.
By removing pigment from the iris, making the iris more translucent, you're literally lightening the color of your iris. Again, something that not FDA approved, no studies have shown that they are safe, and again, fraught with complications, including glaucoma.
Yeah, all the people out there who have glaucoma, retina disease, cornea disease, who would love to have healthy eyes, must be shaking their heads at this.
Yeah, well, and doctors are too.
Shocking.
They really are. So Dr. Perez also told me at this point, the only safe method to change your eye color is using color contact lenses prescribed by an eye doctor. Don't buy them online either.
Or maybe just be happy just the way you are.
That too.
Right?
Isn't there like a Snapchat filter for that?
Yeah.
I mean,
you can do cat eyes, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can do that too.
Sunglasses, glasses. All right, guys, let's talk about the weather. Today was our cool day. We've been talking about that, the front coming through last night. A couple good showers and thunderstorms with it as well. We made 72 degrees today, but that was at 12:09 this morning. The temperatures were actually falling at that particular time. We spent most of the day in the lower 60s. 72, though, is where we should be. So if you look at it, technically, yeah, we were there. But again, most of this day was in the lower 60s. It's clearing out there now, but it is getting chilly. Barely in the 50s for Tampa right now. 50 degrees. Dew point has really dropped down to about 39 degrees. That's the drier air moving into the region. And we've got mid-40s for Hernando and Citrus County. Dade City right now at 46, 48 in Wesley Chapel. So certainly some chilly numbers out there. It's in the 40s as well up in the Panhandle. Tallahassee, though, at 38 degrees. Obviously warmer. Earlier today, it was 62 in Tallahassee and 62 in Miami. So there wasn't much of a spread. Now we're starting to see it with clear skies and light winds. Now, radar is going to stay dry. No rain out there tonight. In fact, the rain's now out with the front. In fact, moving through the Bahamas now. And even those high clouds are finally starting to clear. Most of them. We'll keep a few high clouds for the next several hours, but I think it's mostly sunny as we get going into your Thursday afternoon. Here we go down into the mid-40s, and that's in Tampa, so that means some upper 30s. Hernando and Citrus County, but clear skies, lighter winds. 40 in Crystal River. Yeah, you get east of there, and we're talking about 38 degrees. Brooksville, that's right in town. There are going to be some areas in the upper 30s right around. Now, this is tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Morning commute looks good. Jackets for the kids, but something they can peel off and put in their backpack because we're talking lower 70s tomorrow afternoon. That's it, about 73, 74 degrees with lots of sunshine out there. So tomorrow's forecast, 73. Sunrise at 7:09. Winds will turn to the east, and that's basically what's going to help warm us up, obviously, along with the sunshine. But boating concerns, it's still a little breezy first thing in the morning for the coastal areas. So we'll go northeast winds at 15 knots, but 5 to 10 knots in the afternoon. So the wind's coming down. Small craft advisories were allowed to expire. They will not be up tomorrow, and 2 to 3 foot seas. Friday's even better. So if you have plans to take the boat out either late tomorrow afternoon or even on Friday, it looks fantastic. So here's a look at the next 6 to 10 days, and look where all the warm air is going to be. This is temperatures, and you can see a very, very warm air for us. We're talking upper 70s to low 80s, while the coolest air will be back out west. In fact, most of the western United States will be on the chilly side. Here are the forecast highs take us into Friday. You can see Texas is warm, but notice the single digits part of the northern plains, teens in Minneapolis by Saturday. We stay relatively mild. In fact, it just is not enough push of cold air to come southward all the way. In fact, I've been looking all the way out through about the 23rd, 24th of February. So it's going to be fantastic here over the next several days. Now, tomorrow, there it is, Thursday, Valentine's Day. 73 degrees, mostly sunny. Dinner time tomorrow. If you're going out, you want to eat outside, we'll be falling back down through the 60s. So a little bit of a sweater there. Friday in the mid 70s, upper 70s. Saturday, Sunday, just a small chance for a shower. Don't worry about that. Low 80s. Same setup for President's Day if you have that day off too.
Few people enjoy talking about bugs. Tonight we're talking about the ones that live in your kitchen.
Yeah, this is pretty gross, and they're not just hiding anywhere. We've seen you complain about roaches hiding and breeding in your coffee makers, like those popular Keurig machines. We asked an exterminator about this. His response was pretty simple.
Insects in general need the three things that we need to live: food, water, and shelter. A stray roach in your coffee maker, it's very common.
And once your coffee maker is infested, bad news. The exterminator says it's over. Most machines have too many movable parts, which he says makes it too hard to clean them and get rid of all the roaches in their eggs.
But Katie, these machines are expensive. Is there something else you can do?
Funny you should ask. We talked about this on Facebook Live tonight, and there are some resources that recommend freezing them.
Okay.
Taking that unit and putting it in your freezer to kill all the roaches, but then you still got to take it apart and get them out of there.
Yeah, you hate to throw it away, but okay, that's another choice.
Gross.
Now, from 10 News, this is 10 Sports.
Yohan Moncada behind the counter with two, and he gets an off-speed pitch. Beautiful changeup right there by Blake Snell. And there's strike three called as he just buckled him again with a breaking ball.
And that is strike three called. 98 on the fastball to get Morales looking.
A fastball swung on a miss at 97. He just completely devoured Jackie Bradley Jr.
He was so nasty last year. A Cy Young campaign followed by a busy offseason for Blake. Of course, he made some time for Fortnite, his favorite game. Coached a little youth basketball as well, and added to his collection of 300-plus pairs of shoes. I'm jealous, too. Just like his kicks collection, Snell no longer a secret, and he's not going to be an all-star snub in 2019 either. The Rays ace got to work in Port Charlotte this morning with pitchers and catchers reporting. The AL wins leader will have everyone's attention as he hopes to build off his absurd 21-win, 1.89 ERA campaign. He believes he could be even better. I don't know how, but that's bad news for anyone else in the Bigs.
Every year I'm more motivated, I feel I just get more and more excited too. I feel like I gained a lot of ground last year to be excited about, but also still knowing that I have a lot of work to do to get to where I want to be at the end of the day. So to be able to see that, feel that, it's exciting, and it makes me want to get better. I feel like there's a lot of room still to get better.
And imagine how much better he could be. Snell actually now has as many Cy Youngs as CC Sabathia, the future Hall of Famer and six-time All-Star, will reportedly retire after this final season with the Yankees. It's his 19th in the league. Sabathia is a World Series champ and is just 14 strikeouts shy of 3,000 for his illustrious career.
I've always stated I've never shied away from it.
those games mean a little more. They have to. You know, they have to. We've responded very well to, you know, you guys aren't very good, and you're not going to win a lot of games. And we got tough enough kids that they've responded very well to that.
At the half, Coach Greg, USF 17 wins this season. That's already 7 more than they had last year in Gregory's inaugural campaign. But they need a quality W to even be considered to sneak in to March Madness in the NCAA tournament. UCF, they're considered a bubble team, according to CBS. Bulls haven't beaten the Knights since 2015. Been a long time. But the war on I-4 does get renewed on the hardwood in Orlando. Brian Gregory's team, they were run out of the building from the jump. They trailed 13-0 first half. Here down 11. Aubrey Dawkins of the Knights pokes it away. Finishes with the flush. Bulls plagued by turnovers in the opening 20. Also had trouble with Taco Fall. That's 7'6". He can dunk pretty easily on the inside. Look how easy this is. Just throw it up to the big man, and he doesn't even get off his feet. Fall with 21 points. USF's 5-game win streak comes to an end in Orlando. Now, the Bulls still lead the all-time series in hoops. They also own the Knights on the gridiron in that series as well, thanks to this man, Jim Levitt. He never lost to UCF when he was the Bulls' boss. Now, though, searching for a new job as he is out at Oregon. Levitt was relieved of his duties. He's not going to be coming back, according to a 24/7 Sports report. The reason for his departure is unknown, but Levitt interviewed for multiple jobs this offseason, passed over for every single one. Remember, he was originally hired by Willie Taggart in 2017. Levitt was the 6th highest paid assistant in the nation and had 2 years remaining on his contract.
Tonight's lottery numbers are brought to you by Moss Nissan, where all of our new and quality...
Well, finally tonight, it was a day in the Big Apple fit for King.
Yeah, that is the name of this year's winner of Best in Show at this year's Westminster Dog Show.
Right. Now, King, the wire fox terrier, spent his Wednesday posing for photos at the Empire State Building. There was a big crowd that turned out to enjoy the panoramic views of the city with the newly crowned top pooch. And afterwards, it was off to Sardi's for lunch, where King got his choice of steak or chicken. Now, the day was wrapped up over on Broadway with an appearance this evening in Pretty Woman.
Look at the grooming
Fit
of
for
that
a king,
dog.
for
That dog
real.
eats pretty well.
Better shape than most of us.
Super cute too, though.
Very.
Have a good night.
See you tomorrow.
The best treatment requires an accurate diagnosis. Choose quality. RoseRadiology.com.
This is a place where we celebrate tradition and marvel at innovation, where we blow glass and break glass ceilings, where bridges aren't the only things that connect us. This is a community in motion, and 10 News is moving right along with you, sharing the stories of who we are, why it matters, stories that keep us going forward. Because the only thing that makes us hit pause is a sunset. 10 News, together, Tampa Bay.